Now it's time to check in with Motor Week's top tech, Pat Goss, for all the right car care advice.
John, we're always talking about how cars have changed, and that's certainly evident in the way they ride and handle. And what's responsible for that? Well, changes in suspension, not the least of which are the shock absorbers and the struts that are on modern cars. They're pretty ingenious. See, the whole object of a shock absorber or a strut, and a car has one or the other, is to keep the car from bouncing when you go over bumps. Cars should remain firm and level without floating up and down. Well, the way cars are today, shocks and struts last a long time, and when they go bad, it may be relatively subtle. So, how are you going to tell if the shocks or struts are bad? One way is to look at the tires. If you see tire wear that starts getting kind of choppy or cupped or scalloped around the edge of one or more of your tires, the shock absorber or strut on that corner of the car is probably bad. And if so, you replace two of them. You always replace shocks or struts in pairs, two fronts, two rears. But what are some of the other things you could do to check shocks and struts? Well, maybe your repair shop will have one of these rod bar new tech suspension analyzers. This uses a sensor that goes on each wheel, and it has a chart for the individual cars. The technician pushes the car up and down, and the meter says whether or not that particular shock or strut is bad. It's pretty ingenious. Of course, you could also do the old-fashioned test where you bounce the car up and down and you get it going. You let go of it in the down position. If the shock or strut on that corner of the car is good, it'll come up to the center and it'll stop. That's it. It won't continue to oscillate. Now, how bad can some of these get? Well, keep in mind that the average shock or strut, if you were to take a hold of it today, it would take quite a bit of force to pull it out. Look at this one. No effort whatsoever to move it. So they can get pretty bad, and when they do, well, the car could be quite dangerous to drive because you have very poor handling control. All right, now, going to replace them. Do some shopping, simply because there are tremendous advancements going on in shock absorber and strut technology. Like this Monroe reflex shock, for instance. It has the ability to adapt to changes in the road in thousandths of a second. That way the car doesn't bounce, yet you maintain good control. It's pretty ingenious. A lot of stuff like that on the market these days. Check it out, see what's best for you. And if you have a question or a comment about your automobile, write to me. If I use your letter, I'll send you a Motor Week t-shirt. The address is Motor Week, Owings Mills, Maryland, 21117.